Hello everyone, Nick here, and welcome to the 6th and final Time Agent vlog for Series 3. And the final Time Agent vlog for the episodic ones, individual episodes, at least for this series. Because this is the last episode, at least the last one released. As I've said many times, and will continue to say many more times, Series 4 is not finished or released. So, reluctantly, the final episode is Judgment Day, which is this one. In this story, we see Liam has developed some flower alien powers. He's part flower alien, part human, and he and the executive kind of go on a chase/fight across the city. Meanwhile, Mortis has to try and get in. He's with Scarlet Brooks for a little bit, who wants to go in so she can do something for her career, and she cuffs Mortis to a railing after kissing him, which distracts him from being cuffed. And Robin has to get into the city, so he uses the Colonel's, or well, the not Colonel anymore, Mr. Radcliffe Natesmith. I think he uses his jet to get into the city. Also, I think the guy that Robin meets on his way in is the guy in the episode where we see Nidge's backstory in Series 4, in the clip, one of Nidge's backstory, his origin clip. We see a guy who I think, and this is also in the trailer at the end of this episode, I think it's this guy, the guy who Robin meets on the way in. So, I don't know if I was right or not, I only just saw a little bit of him in the clip. I think they look similar. Again, it's a shame I could prove it. This theory couldn't be proven. If it could be the same guy. So eventually the team have to work their way up together. Liam finds Mortis and frees him. They have a fight for a bit because they arguing about Liam. The Liam that Mortis knew was gone. And then they're attacked by the Black Flower Alien, who Robin kills. Now, the fights are great, but then the Flower Alien just is shot dead by Robin and just dies like a pussy. I don't usually do say that, but the Flower Alien was a pussy in this episode. The Black Flower Alien. And this is not a racial thing. He's just he's the leader, okay? This has nothing to do with race. He's the leader. That's why he's called the Black Flower Alien. A bit like Dalek Sec. Or the Supreme Daleks in the classic series. But still. So eventually the team work with each other, and they go to confront the executive. The Colonel, or Mr. Radcliffe Natesmith, as he should be known now, fires a missile at the Vision X tower, and the executive escapes. But yeah, about 25 odd minutes into this episode, the executive shoots himself in the head. And we already know throughout the episode that he's been doing this, or Liam's been shooting him, so committing suicide means he's respawned and transported to another place in the city. So whether it be another place in the tower, a few blocks away, or just round the corner. In this case, it's probably somewhere else. Yeah, apparently losing your building makes you a little less powerful. Your plans seem to have failed just because your building's fallen, even though your giant flower alien is roaming the city. So that's all it needed to stop Judgment Day, guys. A missile at a building. It's satisfying, but it's funny at the same time. Eventually, the focus is moved on to the big flower alien, but unlike Katrina and the Zacchatrons, the focus moving from one to the other in Best Kept Secret. With the executive, we've had 4 previous episodes to get to see this character being really great as opposed to Katrina. We only saw about half and a little bit of the previous to get that one, Nightmare Forest and Best Kept Secret. Whilst here we've got First Contact through to the first half of Judgment Day. No, I'm not including not First Contact, Point of No Return. He just stood there, that's all. The most he did, when the most menacing of bits of that was the Next Time trailer for the next episode. So that's why I'm saying First Contact to since it's the past first half of this one. But So like I said, the executives had 4 episodes to build up his menacing power. So once he does leave in this one, the focus does then change on to the next villain when he goes on to the Flower Alien, as opposed to Katrina, where we've already had 2 episodes of the Zaccatrons, and we were focusing on this fantastic new villain who is a former friend / girlfriend of Liam and Mortis, and like Mortis, potential candidate for redemption to help with the Judgment Day problem. Removed within 12 minutes. Well, not within 12 minutes, within 13. It was removed just after 12 minutes. Moved on to the Zaccatrons. Whilst here we actually move on to the Flower Alien God, who is who we need our attention focusing on, because he's only just appeared at the end of the last one, whilst the executive we had 4 previous episodes, 5 had Point of No Return, plus it looks like he's going to come back, or would have come back had the series continued. So this is why I don't have much of a problem with the executive bailing out halfway through the episode like I did with Katrina. Because, 1, he's not dead. 2, we've had many episodes 4 or 5 episodes beforehand to get used to him having great villain. And now the attention needs to switch to this new one. And 3, he's going to come back, or would have. I think I've made my point. So then the team go off to fight the giant Flower Alien. They remember who they're fighting for, they're planning it, they're all ready to go. Eventually they have... Robin goes after some Flower Aliens in search for Zoe, who he then sadly finds has been turned into a Flower Alien. Considering it took about 3-4 days to turn Captain Tobias into one, and it only took about 1 or 2 to turn Zoe into one, that's pretty advanced technology, especially as we didn't see her or anybody else in the conversion chamber when Liam and the executive and the Tobias Flower Alien in the last episode were there. Maybe there's other conversion chambers. The Cybermen have many spread across the universe. Or maybe they just didn't notice. Maybe it was when they were fighting. So Robin then has to sadly put Zoe down, in lack of the terms. And I actually felt sad for this because despite not knowing much about her, I liked the character, so I would like to see more of her. And I guess you'd have to have the emotional, sad moments, because the show not going to be able to do spoiler alert. I'll get around to that in a minute. Plus, there wouldn't that much of an emotional response from Scarlet or Alec being killed off. So, all the receptionists at the start of this one, so they have to kill off characters you're going to get emotionally attached to. And whilst Obadiah and Tobias you don't get emotionally attached to, you do wish you had seen more of them in action. You would like to have seen them survive this. In this case, we did. I liked the character, so I actually got sad when she died, like the other members in the previous episodes, especially Dan. Mortis, on the other hand, has to help Liam, who's going to go and fight off the giant Flower Alien, and then Liam and Mortis exchange a little bit about acknowledging that their teammates Tobias and Obadiah are dead. Liam gives Mortis Tobias' watch to give back to his girlfriend, as we see at the end of the episode. Not girlfriend, fiancé. And Mortis gives Liam Agent Obadiah's vortex manipulator so he can escape. As Mortis said in Point of No Return, they took out the kind of clunking crystals, some sort of crystals, so they can't time travel or teleport, but they can use them for everything else, so that they don't get caught so close to Judgment Day by the Time Agency or tracked. So Liam then goes off and pilots the Zacatron spaceship the Colonel had as a private hobby, see episode 1, to take down the giant Flower Alien. And which he does. They play a different version of You Spin Me Right Round. It's not the original, it's a different version. It's a good version, but I prefer the original. However, he manages to destroy the Flower Alien God and escapes. According to Mortis, there's some time jump energy on his vortex manipulator. Had he not done that, then he probably would have died, and that would have been a bigger emotional response. So a bit like The Dark Knight Rises later in the year, this is the only episode in 2012, by the way. Like The Dark Knight Rises later in the year, they didn't dare kill off their main character. And again, like the executive, Liam has potential to return either at the end of Series 4 or at a later date, so, or would have had it continued. Mortis and Robin then have some tidying up to do. There's the funeral for Zoe, there's the watch delivery to Tobias's, or in her case, Jerry Smith's fiancée, because she knew him as Jerry Smith. There's a drink in the pub. Oh yeah, Dr. Jackson Turner makes a appearance. He saves Robin at one point in the toilets, and then he's at the funeral. And they're just walking around the city for a little bit, and then Robin decides to go travelling, so they go on a train. And then Mortis meets up with Scarlet Brook to confirm that she wasn't going mad, everything that happened. At this point, he's now erased everyone who's not in the Heart of the Storm's memories, so, and with Unit, they've covered it up, so no one's remembering this apart from those at the Heart of the Storm, and that's what, again, in the Nidge clip, they're trying to find out about in the next series. So, yeah, and Mortis makes a nice little reference to Series 1, saying it's going to make sure things don't get nasty. Because the things get nasty things are a reference to Dark Revelations. And he's explaining to, that's the last line of the episode, and he was explaining to Scarlet that Darkchester now sits on the epicenter of time cracks. Liam's alive, and he's going to need a new team to stop anything coming through the time cracks. And he's stuck because he hasn't got the ability to time travel or teleport. So basically, Series 3 is pretty much wrapping up everything we've known so far and pretty much setting up the unmade Series 4. In conclusion, Time Agent Judgment Day is the best episode of Time Agent. And it's just a brilliant episode. The emotion is great, the characters are great, the acting is brilliant, especially for Christopher Thompson. Despite only being in the episode for about 25 minutes. I also think the story is brilliant, despite it's being mostly running around. So the fights are great. The effects, again, as I mentioned yesterday, are brilliant. Maybe not the flower alien, which looks like it was on a green screen. But yeah, it looks great. And towards the end of the episode, I just got really enjoy. Wow, I love this. I don't know why. It's just the last 10-15 minutes. It probably shows my love for Time Agent. They've just wrapped up this big story. And they're just finishing it up, kind of tucking it away, preparing to bring out the next series and whatever stories they were going to tell. It just feels so nice. And I guess that fueled my love for the episode, the series, and in fact the show. And I always feel at the end of this one, like, I have to go back and rewatch the series because it's so freaking good. I don't always. Sometimes I go back. For the purposes of these vlogs, in fact I've already watched the series before I rewatched them for the vlogs. I mean, I already rewatched them again for like whatever number of time, and then again, so I can do the vlogs. And there's so much other stuff out there. Most of it is gone because of Billy Tracy's channels, but there's other bits still there. I'll do a video about what's to come after this one. I can safely say the next one will be on Series 4. What we got and what we were hoping for, what we thought we'd be getting, and we'll just discuss Series 4, what we would get almost got but didn't. So to conclude Judgment Day, it's a fantastic episode. It's really great. It's really brilliant. Some of the best writing of the series. And this is probably my favourite episode of the entire show. If this was a TV show, this would be brilliant. And yeah, 10 out of 10. Also, this is the longest episode, and it fits. It's a fitting way to end the series. Even though it was not, well, it was originally the plan by Billy Tracy. Originally planned just 3 seasons, end after 3 of them. but Jamie Cowell persuaded him to do series 4, to or at least have a 4th series, and that's they started work on it around the time series 3 was coming to an end, similarly to how they started work on series 3 around the time series 2. So that earlier scene at the start. Oh yeah, strange thing, little nitpick here, the scene at the start says it was in Henlo a year before Judgment Day, but it seems like it was set exactly after, just a few minutes, maybe a few hours, a day or so, after the events of the Zakatron Massacre and Best Kept Secret. It feels like it's just no more than a day or two after Best Kept Secrets events. But throughout the rest of the series, they've been saying it's been 6 months since the events of that story, so why does it at the start say 1 year before Judgment Day rather than 6 months? I don't know. I don't know. That's just a nitpick, and yeah, this is just a fantastic episode. So 10 out of 10. I just love it, and this and Nightmare Forest from the 2nd series is just mega brilliant. So that's it from my Time Agent vlogs for the episodic episodes, but stay tuned, there will be some extra Time Agent vlogs. I'll do a video explaining which ones they are, listing them, and then I will also, I can tell you the first one after that will be on Series 4. Okay, thank you for watching, I'll see you guys next time, goodbye. This is probably the longest one, by the way. Not just the longest episode, the longest vlog.